Complex tasks often fail because they're simply too big for one prompt. When you cram everything into a single request, the model spreads itself thin and the quality drops. Look at this overloaded prompt. It asks for a complete business plan, executive summary, market analysis, competitive landscape, product description, marketing strategy, 5-year financials, team bios, and risk assessment all at once. That's far too much. The results end up shallow on each section, missing important details, and inconsistent from one section to the next. Decomposition is the fix. Instead of one giant ask, you break the task into smaller, manageable subtasks that AI can handle reliably. In this lesson, we'll see how to split tasks, design each subtask prompt, and combine the results back together. There are two main ways to decompose a task. The first is horizontal or parallel decomposition. Here, the subtasks are independent and can be done in any order. For a business plan, you could separately write the executive summary, research the market, analyze competitors, describe the product, and plan marketing. None of those strictly depend on each other. The second is vertical or sequential decomposition, where each step depends on the one before it. Take developing a feature. First you define requirements, then you design the architecture, which needs the requirements. Then you write code, which needs the architecture, then create tests, then document the feature. The order matters because each step builds on the last. Recognizing which type you have tells you how to sequence your prompts. Once you've split the task, each subtask prompt should follow 4 rules. It should be focused, with one clear objective, complete, containing all the context it needs, independent, with minimal dependencies wherever possible, and verifiable, with clear success criteria so you know when it's done well. Watch how the decomposed approach turns that messy business plan into clean, separate prompts. Prompt 1 researches the fitness app market and asks for a 2-paragraph summary with 3 key statistics. Prompt 2 analyzes the top 3 apps and asks for a comparison table. Prompt 3 takes the context from the first 2 and writes a product description highlighting your unique value. Each prompt does one job well, and you can check its output before moving on. That's the whole point of decomposition. Decomposition isn't finished when the subtasks are done. You still need integration, pulling the pieces back into one coherent whole. The trick is to feed your completed outputs into a final synthesis prompt. Here you paste in the market summary, the competitive analysis, and the product description. Then ask the model to synthesize them into a cohesive executive summary that ties the insights together, capped at 300 words. Because each input is already focused and high quality, the final assembly is clean and consistent, instead of the shallow mess you'd get from one overloaded prompt. So the full workflow is split the task, run each focused subtask, then combine. That last step is what turns separate answers into a finished deliverable. Decomposition is powerful, but it isn't always the right move. Decompose when the task has multiple distinct parts, when the output would exceed quality limits, when different parts need different expertise, or when results have to stay consistent across sections. On the other hand, don't decompose when the task is simple and focused, when the parts are highly interdependent and hard to separate, or when the overhead of combining outputs outweighs the benefit. A quick planning habit helps here. Before you start, ask yourself, what are the natural subtasks? What dependencies exist between them? What's the optimal order? And how should the results be integrated? Answer those 4 questions, and you've already designed your workflow. Decomposition turns impossible tasks into achievable, step-by-step workflows. Now it's your turn to practice. Take a large task, like creating a mobile app launch strategy, and break it into 4 to 6 focused subtasks. Cover the audience research, the marketing channels, the timeline and milestones, and the budget or resource planning. Then think about how you'd assemble them at the end. Try this right now. Head to this lesson page on FreeAcademy.ai and use the interactive prompt playground to design your decomposition flow and get instant feedback. Or paste your task straight into an AI assistant like ChatGPT or Claude and watch how much sharper the results are when each subtask is focused. Decomposition is one of the most reliable habits in prompt engineering, so practice it until splitting big tasks becomes second nature. Thanks for learning with Free Academy.